So I was just over at the e-bike expo in Denver, Colorado, getting to try out some new models. This is the Haibike Full FatSix SDURO with the Yamaha motor. And man, I've been excited to see this forever. I was actually in Simi Valley. Excel North America has kind of a base of operations there, and I got to see one of these things, and I looked at it, and I was hopping on it, but it wasn't set up yet, and then right away it went to a trade show, kind of like this. So people have been out there using this thing. It's got some scratches. The seat post has been up and down, but it's holding up great, and this thing is a beast. I mean, it's a full suspension fat bike. It's like the only one I've ever seen like this. We got the RockShox Bluto up front, 120 millimeters of travel, RockShox Monarch in the back. Same thing, it's got a little clicker adjuster. You've got remote lockout on the front one, which is pretty cool if you want to stabilize it a little bit. But I mean, you got the fat tires, you got the suspension. This thing it's about comfort, but it's also like go anywhere. And with the mid-drive, you know, it's keeping that weight low and center. That's going to improve your balance. I was on it earlier, kind of shaking it around, trying to see how flexy the frame was, and it felt good. This is a small, it comes in 3 different sizes. I think it's 42, 46, and 50 centimeters. And that's pretty impressive on its own, because just to make a custom frame like this is the 4-bar horse link suspension, you know, to design it so beautifully, and then to also have those different sizes is amazing. The unfortunate thing about it is, it sounds like most of these models are selling through, and we're like at June 2016, you know, this is like peak of the season, summertime. So I'm here with Matt, and you are with Haibike, right? You're a territory manager, and you talked a little bit about maybe even a little bit of development, that's the stuff. You take an interest in these bikes, you're passionate about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I've really taken myself into the technical world of biking these days.
Yeah.
Before this, I was at PowerTap. So the electronics, I should say, is very interesting to me, and that's my niche.
You know it. I mean, we were talking earlier, and I was like, so, you know, this is a 15 millimeter through axle with quick release. What about the back? Normally it's 142 by 12 millimeter, and you're like 197.
So this is actually 197 by 12.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, you've got it. I think it's neat to talk to someone who knows the space. But you've also been with Haibike for, I guess, over a year now.
I actually just hit my anniversary on June 15th.
Congrats,
so my
man.
1 year.
And that's really when they started to enter in the United States and really get themselves established.
Haibike pretty much started about 3 years ago, and then we really took a big major role to get in the market starting in August of 2015. So we've been really trying to move a lot of product, a lot of education for dealers, and things are starting to blow up with Haibike.
Well, one feedback that I get from people, they're like, oh, awesome, Haibike. When can I get it? Where can I get it? And then all of a sudden it's there and it's like sold out. You know, what's the deal? Was there some shipping delays this year or something?
There were a couple little shipping delays. I mean, Germany and the EU, these bikes are selling like crazy.
Yeah.
I completely understand. So being able to get the product over to the United States, you know, it's hard, but, you know, we are getting a lot of orders, pre-orders, everything like that. People are doing their education online. They're seeing what these bikes are. They're pre-ordering them.
So that's the key. If they want one, like you're looking at maybe 2017, or you could call some dealers. And
Exactly. I mean, we have some models left, but I mean, if you really want to get these bikes, you need to pre-order them.
Okay, okay. You know, I'm not trying to be a sellout here or anything, but people ask, they're like, where can I find this? This is the guy. I thought I'd try to ask and get some feedback.
And if you want, you can go to HaibikeUSA.com for our dealer locator. You can also contact any one of us. Go to your local shop, even just ask for them, even if they're not a dealer.
Yeah,
you can always contact
get some more
us.
dealers on board. So let's talk a little bit more about the bike. This is 6061 hydroformed aluminum. I talked about the horse link suspension. That was proprietary to Specialized in the United States for a while, and then the patent got opened up, and now we can have it with a bike like this. So it's supposed to reduce your bob, right? Where you're pedaling and you're not getting like sinking feeling and wasting energy.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's a great feel. It's going to do what it needs to do. And what you even pretty much said, you explained it right there.
Tell me about the, thank you. Tell me about the clicker. So what is that doing?
So with the Monarch RockShox, you can actually lock out the rear shock or actually have it completely open. There's also even a half open option. Oh. So you're getting a little bit of suspension, or you're getting all of the 120 millimeter suspension, or if you kind of want a hardtail during those, you know, maybe
the climbing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
just
the city.
On pavement. So
yeah,
already this bike, as you even said, it can go anywhere. Sand, snow, you can do it as a commuter.
The back of your car, because of that quick release. I mean, that's important, guys. Exactly. Like these things are big. One thing it doesn't have is a kickstand, and we just lost our rock down here. We were using this to stand the bike up. It's probably
I can hold it.
Thank you. It's, you know, that's one area. A lot of the mountain bikes from Haibike don't have that. They also don't have, especially with a full suspension like this, there's no bosses for adding racks or anything, but I was just hanging out with the Pedelec Adventure guys, like Suzanne,
Suzanne Bruche?
Suzanne Bruche, and she had like these extra Thule racks and stuff. I'm not sure if they would fit on a fat bike like this. Do you know?
They actually do. I had one dealer, he was setting it up as he wanted. He had racks, fenders, everything.
Wow.
So that is all possible. You can hook up lights to this, hooks up right to the motor, runs off that same
Do your
battery.
shop help you? What if you live somewhere where there's not a shop and you want to have lights wired in? How does that work?
So we do recommend that the shop, if you can find one, it's the easiest way.
Right.
Because we don't want you to mess with the motor too much. But I mean, the motor itself is really easy, just to, drop it out, and it's a plug and play system, but really the dealer should do it.
Okay. Well, can you tell me about the motor? Like what's this thing offering?
So right now, this is the Yamaha Motor. It's a 500-watt motor. It has 0 cadence engagement. So
that's
that
means, big buzzword with you guys, yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, that power is available immediately on that first pedal stroke.
But does that mean like I'm sitting here and I got my brakes on and I'm just pushing on it? Is it going to take off on me or?
No, not really like that. You might feel like a little power, maybe just a little. It wants to go, but let's just say you are caught halfway up a hill and you had to stop. Really hard to kind of usually get started on a regular bike, anything like that. So it's ready right away, and you can get going on that steep hill immediately.
So what I've noticed about it is it feels more like kind of a cadence torque combination, and I had to push a little bit more to get it going on this.
Yeah, exactly. So where the kind of power packet is in the motor is a little later on. So the more you're giving into it, the more it's giving back to you.
Okay, kind of ramps up, I guess.
Exactly. And the Yamaha system really likes a lower cadence. Its optimal cadence is right around 8.
You've probably heard me say this, right? So this is one of my things. I have a sensitive knee. When I'm pedaling, I prefer to spin. So I'm sometimes like approaching a hill, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to shift down so I can like spin so that I don't strain my knee. With this bike, then the motor drops out a little bit more. That is a complaint for me. Haibike has 2 model types, and there's the SDURO with the Yamaha. There's the XDURO with Bosch.
Right, and
for me, the Bosch has the higher spin rate.
Exactly, and the optimal cadence for the Bosch is 95 to 105.
There we go. So this one's 80, that one's 95 to 105.
Exactly, but the nice thing as well is with this motor, you can see we have a standard chainring on front with a front derailleur. So we have 2 chain rings.
Yeah, 20 speeds. This is Shimano Deore Shadow XT. 10 sprockets, and then 2 up. That's something that Bosch doesn't have yet.
Exactly. So you have 20 speeds when the motor's off.
Right.
Now you have 4 other levels.
Of assist, right?
Assist.
Yeah.
So each one of those has 20 gears. So effectively, you have 100 gears on this bike.
Yeah, it's a cool way to look at it.
Any terrain, any hill is possible.
Okay. So. And, to be fair, my job is like to review and to kind of critique and give you guys a feel for what it offers. The XDURO doesn't come in the full suspension. This is like the only one that you can get like this, and for me, comfort's a big deal. So regardless of there's a lower cadence activation. I mean, the motor's very powerful. I was climbing up in some of the hills around Simi Valley, and it just went, it took me up there. It was no problem. It was a little bit slower. So I love that the cables and everything are all internally routed. It just keeps it really clean. The battery pack on these is nice. It actually slides out to the side, and that allows them to have this sort of like angled top tube for a lower standover height. Is that
right? We can actually get smaller frames. A couple of our SDURO models go down to a 35-centimeter frame.
Wow.
So 5 foot, no issue.
It's accessible. Yeah.
Right.
That's very nice. And I talk about sometimes it's like, well, there's nowhere to mount bottle cages or anything like that, but I've seen them up here, and sometimes you have a backpack, so that's great. Here's the locking point on this battery. It's a little heavier than the Bosch battery, but the motor is a little bit lighter on the Yamaha, so that's cool. I think it actually comes with Welgo cages versus these platforms, but I like these. I'm glad you guys upgraded. It gives you a little bit more surface area for someone with larger feet so you don't slip. Exactly. 31.6 millimeter seat post diameter. If you wanted to put like a thud buster or body float, but I mean, you got full suspension. When people ask me, they're like, well, should I get a hardtail or full suspension? I'm always like, you can't add that rear suspension very easily after you bought the bike. So.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, a lot of people do ask about the dropper seat posts. These fit on these.
Oh, the droppers. Yeah, so that's for like climbing and then bombing.
Yeah, that's a very popular addition to any of these bikes that we have.
Well, I'm glad good. 31.6. I noticed that, I think, let's see, we were up here before, the locking grips, extra wide, Magura hydraulic disc brakes, 203 millimeter in the front, so good stopping power, 180 in the rear. And these ones, it looks like they have the dual piston, so you've got like 2 pads, and is that supposed to, it stops you more effectively, but it kind of dissipates heat?
Exactly, yep, exactly. And I mean, these brakes are gonna hold up. You're gonna have very good stopping power.
Excellent, man, excellent. Well, would you mind walking me through basically the operations of this thing? We were talking about the display earlier and how it comes off. I love that.
Yeah,
so would you just
there you go.
Slide it off?
There's a nice little button, kind of a little tab right there that loosens it.
Yeah.
You can just
When would you want to take this off? Like, what are some...
You know, definitely if you're going to be, if it's outside and you lock it up, I always recommend to take off the display plus the battery. I mean, it kind of makes the bike ineffective, I guess, for maybe a thief or whatnot.
Yeah.
If also you're traveling, so if it's on your car, take the display off. You don't want that thing falling off. Then you got to get a new display.
Matt, do you have any like recommendations on racks? Because a minute ago I was like, this thing fits in your car because quick release wheels. If you want to put it on your car on the back, you need like a different type of rack, kind of.
Right. We definitely recommend that it's a hitch rack, just because those can usually handle a little bit more weight. I think you did weigh this thing. It comes in at right about 53 pounds.
53 pounds.
Yep.
This is awesome. Like crazy. I'm genuinely excited. I test bikes all the time that are like 58 pounds, and it's not full suspension, and it's not a fat bike. This is incredible.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's so light, and where the motor and the battery is, you know, it's the center of gravity.
Yeah.
It's actually going to feel pretty light when you lift it up, and I've heard so many compliments about how this bike just feels light.
On that note, I'm sorry to jerk us around a little bit here, but so these are 26 by 3 inch, or 4 inch tires. Excuse me. And I love that you've got the tire liner, these punched out rims, and that's probably part of the weight savings. Schwabe, it looks like jumbo Jims here, and I think these are tubeless ready. Are they tubeless straight away, or they're just tubeless ready?
Tubeless ready.
Okay, so we get, you know, the Presta valve right there. Just worth calling out. So there's a good equipment here, and for people who like to ride really low PSI, you know, hardcore mountain biking and stuff, I think a lot of people like that do go tubeless.
Exactly.
So they avoid pinch flats.
I mean, I am actually a racer, and I still go tubeless.
Hardcore. So, sweet, man.
I've been racing 17 years, but these are still so much fun to ride.
Okay. Well, now back to the display. We've clicked it on. We can see our time right here.
Yeah, so this is actually the off.
Okay.
Well, I know, we haven't said it. And actually, to go back to what rack that I recommend, you know, I think that the Ceres Super Clamp is a great rack. It accommodates 60 pounds per bike spot, so these are easily, and they also do have fat tire trays.
Little trays,
to accommodate.
Thank you for that. I'm so glad you added that, because you know, people. So the display point here, I think this does swivel. It locks in once you.
You can actually You can turn it up, turn it down, whatever.
And then adjust on the side, kind of the angle. So
exactly.
I noticed right now it's really, before if you put it back, it was like kind of low profile. And with these these are just really lightly elevated, but that should provide some protection if it tumbled or something.
And what Haibike did very nice is they created some bars with a little bit more of a bend to protect the display. So if you do crash, and it can happen, the display won't be destroyed.
That's nice.
So.
That's nice. So the battery's on. We've got the little power indicator here on it, which just gives you some information. But I love that you don't have to power that on separately. It's just a one-step thing, right? Like up here, you press the power button.
Exactly, and you just have to press it. You don't need to hold it or anything. The display comes right up, so you're going to see your miles per hour. Your incorrect time. This is actually how much the motor is giving you.
The power level meter, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, if I actually go over here, I can press the S, and that's kind of more the information button. So at the bottom, you'll see me kind of change the metrics. So the percentage of battery.
Battery percentage, that's key. That's something I don't think the Bosch bike has. You only have like
No, it doesn't. It pretty much just has that bar at the top.
Yeah.
So, and then each one of the bars itself is 20%.
Yeah, that's a 20%, and this one has 10.
Right.
So it's 10%. So that's it's pretty accurate.
Gives you the
I
number.
like that.
Then if you keep going, you get your cadence, your average speed, your max speed, the miles ridden, the odometer, you know, and then this one is actually the range that's left.
Range.
So 43% of the battery. When I hit the up and the down, this is Eco Plus. This is level 1. This actually is an extra level with the models that come with this LCD display.
Kind of the nicer display.
Right, exactly. So it kind of takes away the extra weight of the frame, if you kind of think about it that way.
That's perfect, yeah. So it's like you're riding if this was on electric and you didn't have the extra weight.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, we have 45 more miles on this setting. Now we have 3 more. We have Eco, Standard, and High. And of course, the miles kind of start going down. It's taking a little bit more juice depending on how much it's giving you.
Is this backlit all the time, by the way?
Yes,
it is. Yeah, because it's kind of got like a blue glow, if I remember correctly. I noticed that this one has like the walk assist button, and I don't think it works. Is that right?
Right, so it's not enabled for the US right now, of course, because it was kind of thought of as a throttle, and we want to make sure that safety measures are taken before we actually...
Yeah, this is a Class 1 pedal assist bike. You have to pedal, only goes to 20 miles per hour, which is good, but you know, that enables this to go on more trails. California's been working on different legislation to make it more acceptable to take bikes out onto trails, and because you're pedaling, so anyway, that aside, if you had a throttle, it would potentially compromise that, and I think
exactly. And the walk assist really only helps you about 3 miles per hour up to 6 miles per hour, depending on the design of the bike and the manufacturer. But yeah, for right now there is no walk assist, so sorry.
But what you do have is like this nice little micro USB port. Look at that, right? Charge your iPhone or your Android or whatever.
So it doesn't really quite charge it. It's able to keep the battery life where it is.
Thank you for clarifying that. If anyone out there is into virtual reality, I have a Gear VR, and it's the same thing. You plug it in and it kind of maintains it, because that activity takes a lot of electricity. And it's the same thing with GPS. If you have the screen right there and you're using it to get around, so it's nice that at least it doesn't drop out.
Exactly, and it's just going to be running off that same battery. The battery is not going to go down to 10% just because you plugged in your phone or anything. So.
Am I correct? Is this 36-volt 11 amp hour battery?
Yes.
Right here?
Yep, 400 watt hour.
Are the cells 396, but 400 for marketing purposes, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to round up. It's easier to say.
I feel, that's totally, it's basically.
Right.
Dude, is it Samsung cells, or what are you guys using?
Yep, Samsung
cells, good
and,
stuff.
of course, Yamaha still designs the battery pack itself. So it's no OEM. It's actually going to be very efficient with the motor.
What's the, I guess as far as warranty and stuff, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so no problem. The frame itself, lifetime warranty, manufacturer's defect, of course. The motor is 2 years warranty. The battery is either 700 charge cycles or 2 years.
Okay.
So, and of course the display as well is 2 years.
Yeah, good stuff. And you have replacements, so if that gets broken, people can
exactly contact your dealer. Our helpers in Simi Valley, California, the EBCC.
Yeah, Sean. Shout out to Sean.
Exactly. And Monty. And Graham. They're very helpful. So if you have any questions, you can always call their hotline, and they'll be able to help you with anything.
Okay. Well, sweet. Only one color, but it's an awesome color. It's kind of this like matte gray finish with some black accents and stuff. What are we missing here, man? Are we 44 teeth on the larger chain ring?
What I can say is this has been the most popular bike of the show. People see it, they jump on it, they come back, they're telling their friends. It's amazing. This bike has been selling out almost everywhere. So, I mean, if you want one, you've got to get to a dealer pretty quick.
Well, I can see why. Do you want to maybe hop on it and show people what it looks like to ride around it?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Ready?
Yep, I'm getting...
Just kind of stay around here, but...
Nice. Sweet. Okay, I want to turn. Can I swap in?
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Matt. That's awesome to see.
Yeah.
It's good on it.
Fun bike. It feels like a regular fat bike, but with that motor, it's so much more fun.
Well, and even this is the small, but we raised the seat post, and you looked pretty comfortable. Aren't you? You're like 5'10" or something?
I'm actually 6'2".
6'2". Oh my God! It must be the helmet here.
Probably.
Then. I have aspirational height goals myself. I'm gonna hop on this thing.
No problem.
Looks like we're in high mode, so I'm pushing. I'm not pushing super hard right now, and you can see the power meter there only has 2 ticks. But then if I push more, of course, it gets really high. I start raising that speed a little bit. It feels good. I talked a little bit before about the lower cadence activation, but it does have the pretty instantaneous feel. And this is your only option for the full suspension, so I think I'm a big fan. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Matt. It's been fun hanging out and talking. I didn't complain a lot about this because I think you guys have really done a good job, but it is $52.99. You're paying a little bit more for a full suspension electric bike. I mean, that's not that much more in my opinion, but this is for someone who's getting their first e-bike.
It's worth the quality, the motor you get, everything.
The warranty, all that stuff.
Warranty, exactly.
Thanks again, man.
No problem. Thank you.